How's it going, financial coaches? It's Pete here. I want to talk to you about your first meeting with your clients. This is one I've gotten a lot, and it's kind of funny because sometimes the way the question has been posed to me, and most recently the way it was presented to me, um, motivated me to make this video. So the question that was presented to me was, "Hey, I have someone who wants to meet for the first time. When should I schedule it? Should I force them to schedule it 2 weeks out from now so that I can get ready? So that we can get the paperwork and the agreements all in place and whatnot." And my instinctual response to that, instinctual? No, instinctive response. My gut response to this is that if someone wants to meet with you on financial coaching, you should have that meeting as soon as possible. Now, it doesn't mean that you get an email, "Hey, I would love to meet with you. We're kind of going through the home buying process," um, that it should be today. I very rarely set that expectation. There are some times when I will even have something the same day, but usually I will send them a link to schedule a meeting on my calendar for 24 to 48 hours. So what it does is it blocks out the rolling 24 hours, and so you can book after that. So, if they reached out to me right now, they could schedule something for tomorrow afternoon. Fantastic. Awesome. But what I think is that for some reason, people are thinking about filling a queue when they don't necessarily have a queue. It's not like you're booked up for 2 weeks and you're pushing them out as a matter of just process, like a dentist. If you call and you're like, "I'd like a cleaning," well, we're booked up for the next few weeks. I can get you in at a certain date, right? They're kind of artificially doing that. And I think, and my assumption is maybe you want to look busy. You have prep that you want to do. You want to kind of do some fact finding, maybe an assessment. You want to know more about what's going on. You have this process you've developed in your mind about onboarding clients, and you kind of want to stick to it. And the reality is, when people are reaching out to you, they are motivated at that moment. And my problem with this is that sometimes I have actually been busy and I've said, "Listen, I don't have anything available for the next 2 weeks," right? I mean, I'm literally back to back booked, from the moment I get up to the end of the day. Um, and so I have booked people, say 2, 3 weeks out, 2 months out, sometimes just out of necessity. And what I would say to that is that I have gotten emails where, "Hey, I need to cancel this appointment because I got an answer to what I needed." Or, "Hey, something else came up and I ended up hiring someone from a debt management company to help," or, "I found a financial advisor," or, "I talked to someone at the bank," or whatever it might be. Okay. And great. I'm happy because they've taken the initiative to go out and figure out a solution on their own. But what I don't want to do here is take someone who is in the state of motivation and then wait until that motivation continues to shrivel and die, and then connect with them and say, "Hey, I know you reached out a couple of weeks ago and wanted to connect. So, what's up?" And they say, "Hey, we were thinking, that there was this foreclosure on the market. And I just wanted to see, is that something we should think about? But, it's sold, so it's no big deal." Okay. Well, I just kind of worked myself out of a client because I wasn't there at the time they needed. Now, this does not have to be 24-hour towing. You do not have to be available at 3 a.m. for someone who has an emergency. That's not what I'm saying. But to push people out, especially out beyond 48, 72 hours, really starts to flirt with the kind of the boundaries of, high motivation, right? It's going to kind of go from high. It's not something that, to me, motivation just kind of slides down linearly. It's one of those things where it kind of falls off, right? Especially if you've satisfied the need. Now, I have no motivation to do any more work or to do any more learning once I've solved that problem, right? So it's one of these things that just kind of falls off. Or if something else becomes a higher priority, I'm going to get my car fixed or whatever, and so I can't think about starting an emergency savings fund or whatever it might be, right? All of a sudden, the motivation on that falls off. And so what I would say here is just think about how can you get people in as quickly as possible. Capitalize on the moments that are going to work to your advantage, when you don't have to dig into motivation, where you don't have to figure out ways to find new motivation for them and work as that motivation partner, right? If the motivation is already there, it's just going to make your job easier. It's going to make them more eager to get going. It's going to help them move with a sense of urgency, right? And a sense of purpose. And so, it's just a great element to have by nature. And if your process pushes it out so that you lose that, or it shrivels, or it's not as powerful as it could be, then you're kind of just working against yourself. So in terms of when should I schedule people, I would schedule them as soon as you can, as soon as you practically can, right? Get them in, get them when they're hot, let's make some progress. Let's find some early wins. Let's get on that motivation train, kind of build on that success, and do some incredible things with them. So that's my thought on it. Get them in as soon as possible. See you later.